Nze, personally, I have nothing against pastors. In fact, I thank God every day for them. They do very important work. They guide us on how to live. They give us hope. They keep us from losing our minds. They teach us about God. And of course, they cast and bind demons. But should you wish to marry a pastor, hey, I will light a candle and say a prayer for you, Kubanga. It is not easy. Can you wrap your head around Kaboozi on why you should never marry a pastor? Kutaba, how can you even be there and you say you want to marry a pastor in this Uganda? Hey, where when a pastor buys a new car, they trend on Twitter. Mbu, manya pastors are stealing people's tithe. Eh? When you go to Javas to enjoy life, people will say that she's spending church money. Eh? When they see your bag, they assume that it is lined up with stolen offertory. Unless God calls you himself, whether through a burning bush or through his actual audible voice. Marrying a pastor is not for the faint-hearted. It is for those people with the spiritual stamina of a camel, skin of a crocodile, and PR skills of a politician. You'll need more than anointing oil and vibes, my friend. But before I go on, let me introduce my sponsor. They are a film studio, and if you have a podcast about pastors and their wives, look no further. Just click on the link in the description and they'll have you sorted. And if you are a film producer and you're looking for a location to shoot your film, it could be a hospital, an office, a clinic, any place really. Come to Dilstories Film Studio. Whatever set that you want, they'll set it up for you and at very affordable prices. Now, to continue with this chiwozi, let's be fair. Of course, there are some advantages of marrying a pastor. For example, you won't really need to work again. I mean, why stress yourself when the sheep are there to look after the shepherd? You have become Mrs. Shepherd, First lady of the flock. You'll be enjoying the sweetness of the offertory. And then secondly, you will have free prayer for life. You won't need to line up in aisles or make appointments with a pastor like the rest of us common sinners. Kwegamba, you get automatic prayer coverage. Actually, you'll be in that heavenly WhatsApp group. Now, the disadvantages. There are very many, my sister. Oh, where do I even start from? Let me start with your name. You'll never hear it again. Ever. For as soon as the pastor says I do, your name will be erased from the book of identity. No one will ever call you by your names. They'll only be calling you Mama, Mommy, Madam Pastor, First Lady. Not even your husband will call you by your names. No more honey, sweetheart, baby, boo-boo, nothing. He will call you Mama on the pulpit, at home, and in the bedroom. Imagine him saying, Mama, come let us pray before we begin. Begin what? Intercession. He'll say things like, Mama, come give me a kiss. Mama, bend your leg like that. Mama, turn the other side. Mama, come and sit on top of me. That sexy mood will disappear completely. Kati, if you are the jealous type, Bikulemie, you will not handle, let me tell you, you will never have him all by yourself. You'll share him with the whole church. You'll share him with that overly attached church girl, with that singer that thinks he is her spiritual son. You'll even start praying witchcraft prayers, asking God to not make the church grow. If the church is too big, he'll be very distracted. The more people there are, the less time you'll get to have with him alone. And his phone will never stop ringing. You'll be mid-conversation, mid-lunch, mid-kiss. Ring, ring. Pastor, I sense a demonic presence in the fridge. Pastor, my child has refused to eat porridge. Is that a generational curse? Just know, people will be calling from all over, wanting to be prayed for. And urgently, day and night, midnight intercession calls. 3 a.m. dream interpretation calls. Sister Prossy will call at 5 a.m. because she saw a cockroach and she wants to be prayed for. And should they not get him, it's you they'll be calling. They'll be like, Mama, we tried calling Pastor, but he's not picking. Anyway, Can you interpret for me the dream that I had where I was swimming in cow dung? Another one will say, Mama, in my dream I saw 3 rats and a chicken. Is that a warning about my boss? Cut now for you. How will you even know? The congregation is something you'll never be able to shake off. They are like your in-laws. You hate them, but you can't get rid of them. And your new in-laws are intercessors, ushers, choir masters, the choir, the congregation, everyone. And they'll be all up in your business with the precision of an FBI agent. You wear a red lipstick? Jezebel. When you don't post a sermon link on Facebook? Unsupportive wife. When you don't smile during the welcoming song? Mama is mad. I think pastor is cheating on her. You clap your hands too loudly? You're seeking attention. When you don't clap your hands, you're being proud. One day you show up with a curly wig, you're backsliding, you're becoming worldly. You show up with a very nice bag, that is where the offertory goes. They'll scrutinize every little thing about you. You show up dressed very well, you're vain. You show up dressed not very well, you are letting the ministry down. You look tired, you are not praying enough. You look well rested, you are lazy. You will never win with these people. And when he praises you from the pulpit, hey, my sister, it's not cute. It's a trap. All those women will look at you and start judging you and say, are you seeing the dress she's wearing? The one she wore last week was even better than that. I think they didn't get enough offertory last week. Just like that. And when it comes to your wardrobe, my friend, as a pastor's wife, you're dressing for the kingdom. And that means no leggings, no jeans, no shorts, no tight body-hugging dresses, no cleavage, no knees. Actually, if your dress doesn't sweep the floor and double as a tent for the next overnight prayers, then you're not modest. You're backsliding. You are now a walking Proverbs 31 woman, and so the dresses you wear must touch your ankles. Your fashion must say, I am holy and I have no waist. Forget showing off your figure. That is for those women that have secular husbands. For you, you must wear dresses where people will look at you and wonder, is she carrying a refrigerator in there? Over. As a pastor's wife, you're no longer dressing for yourself. You're dressing for the whole church. You're dressing for the church elders. You're dressing for the choir. You're dressing for the youth. You're dressing for the congregation. You're dressing for that church elder that will just show up randomly at your house at 7 a.m. just because he feels late to talk. So, whether you're at church or at home, you should dress in clothes that are very long and loosey, 24/7. Which brings me to my next point. Your house. Your house is no longer your house. It is a branch of the church. It is an outreach center. People will show up uninvited and unbothered. Sister Esther will show up crying at midnight. Brother Paul will show up and say, I wanted to see if the pastor is available so that we can talk. Kumbe, what he really wants is some kabane. Then, Brother Peter will show up at 9 p.m. but for marital counseling, alone. So, you'll become the church receptionist, the caterer, the cleaner, everything, and for free. And there must always be something cooking in your house. Always. Because you never know who is coming, what time they're coming, and how many there'll be. Your home is a church buffet. And if there is no food, they'll say that you're not a good helper. They'll form cocoons and then start whispering, but you're not supportive to the man of God, as if God sent you to be his chef. And don't even think of having a day off. It is not possible. Sunday is not a weekend. Actually, you should just delete the word weekend from your vocabulary because Saturday is for preparing. Sunday is for serving from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you'll just be there, welcoming people, letting everyone feel at home, smiling, looking pretty, pretending like you're listening to the sermon. Kumbe, in your head, you're looking for ways which you can escape this thing without breaking any covenant. Now, the rest of the days, which is Monday to Friday, counseling sessions, prayer breakfasts, youth retreats, choir practice, committee meetings, just know, by the time you blink, you'll be 47 and tired. And also, let me try and warn you, you'll never gossip in peace. The moment you try to vent about that rude usher or that backstabbing choir mistress. Your husband will just hold your hands and say, let's pray for her. So annoying. You need someone you can backbite other people with, right? But your husband, he'll never let your gossip prosper. Hey, you'll be there bringing tea and gossip, and he'll be looking at you like this and saying things like, my wife, I think the enemy is trying to plant seeds of bitterness in your heart. And the sermons, the sermons. You'll be the material. All your personal issues will be used for sermon illustrations. Every week, the pastor will go up to the pulpit and say, my wife came back very annoyed at me because I forgot to buy milk. And of course, you'll smile and laugh like a goat in an abattoir. Meanwhile, the whole church is looking at you and laughing. Of course, they're laughing because they think it's cute. Kumbe, for you, you're dying because why is he using you as an example? But to make things relatable. If you're lucky, he won't use your embarrassing stories. But even if he does, what will you do? Apart from smiling shyly. And the way pastors be busy. You should never expect any love in your love life. You'll never be serenaded. You'll be scheduled. Sex will depend on his fasting calendar, prayer retreats, and night vigils. For you, you'll be in the mood. For him, he's somewhere on the mountain praying. You'll even suggest a date night and you'll say, let's take a prayer walk instead. A what? The children you'll have, they will not be children. They will be mini prophets. You'll want to name your daughter Kisha. No! Instead, you'll name her Blessing, Faith, Glory. Anything other than that is secular. And your children will only behave like angels. Otherwise, one tantrum from any of them, and the church people will start saying, if she can't control her own children, how is she going to handle women ministry? And just when you think you have some space to breathe, someone will just come and throw in a passive comment and say, Mama, I haven't seen you ministering in a while. Is everything okay? Translation. We think you are failing as a wife and your marriage is falling apart. In summary, being a pastor's wife is spiritual internship that pays in blessings and the work hours are 24/7. However, if your heart is pure and you feel led by God to be a pastor's wife, just fasten your ankle-length dress and go forth. May your skirt never crease and may your smile never crack, because you are the light of the church foyer. So, go in with both your eyes open and knees ready. As for me, I'll marry my border guy whose engine goes off at 7 p.m. and he brings me roasted maize every day. I want peace. Can you wrap your head around this Kaboozi? Please join me every Friday for more juicy Kaboozi like this. And please share this video far and wide so that ladies can see it and avoid marrying pastors, so that you can have pastors who are single and have the freedom to live like King Solomon. Until next week,